So this is me wrapping presents the day of Christmas. Because I'm a busy lady. Seriously. This is for my stepdad. Oh, I'm wearing my new pajamas my grandma got me. They're pretty freaking great, I must say. Fucking hamsters. Oh, really? Where'd it go now? I can't keep things straight ever. So since it is Christmas, and I do spread truth, even though sometimes when you tell the truth, people get mad. Sometimes they don't understand. Sometimes they're just ignorant. Sometimes they're sheep that follow the crowd. So, since it is Christmas, I am obligated to tell you that Christmas is a pagan holiday, and Christmas has absolutely nothing to do with Christ whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So all these people are out here celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, and like thinking this holiday has some significant meaning to it. And I mean, you make your own meaning for things, but if you are trying to follow a religion, you're doing it wrong, because Christmas has nothing to do with Christ whatsoever, or what he did, or what he's going to do, or what he's doing right now. And it's a little devastating. It can be devastating for some people. I'm not sure how I'm going to wrap this. I don't have a gift box. This is for my mom, because she needs to take it easy. I think I'll just wing it. Don't need a gift box. Guys are staying on it. Really? I hate everything sometimes. So yeah, you know, I've had this conversation with people before, and I don't understand why they don't get it. I don't understand. Like, are you just going to a state of denial because you just can't believe it? It's right in scripture. It tells you that, I mean, I guess it's different being a Christian, because Christians are, I mean, if you read the New Testament, Christians are basically, well, this is really like, controversial, but Christians are basically above the law. Basically. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess you can, if you wanted to say that this had some significant meaning, you could. Like I said, we make our own meaning for things. But if you're a Jew and you read the Old Testament, well, man, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but seriously, Christmas is, I forgot where I was going. Anyway, it says in the Old Testament, it says that God hates feasts and holiday and parties, and like he just doesn't like them. Like they have no meaning to him whatsoever. They're extraneous. And then you also know that Christ told people to give up their possessions. I mean, it is a holiday of giving, but you're also getting as well. So Christ told you to give up your possessions and follow him. Now, a lot of people don't really know what that means. I don't even really know what that means, to be quite honest. But it's definitely not having tons of things. It's definitely not having tons of things. And so it just is weird. Like, it doesn't quite click with me. There's a lot of weird things that just don't click. Like, I'm just like, that shouldn't be there, and it is. So, like, what is this? And I'm not a Scrooge, and I'm wrapping presents right now. I'm like, but it's a pagan holiday. It has nothing to do with Christ whatsoever. And Christ will be the one to tell you that as well. Christ isn't going to lie to you and say that this has some kind of meaning to him, because it doesn't. Probably makes him cry. There's a lot of bad things that go on in Christmas time. I have a lot of opinions about a lot of things, a lot of traditions that we do at Christmas time. Time to switch. Let's go to blue. And it was very devastating for me, honestly, because, like, I felt like my whole life was a lie, and it kind of is. But then again, the Bible is really confusing, and I don't necessarily give power over to, I don't even want to say the word, like, I don't even want to say the word. And, so it's just like, God, what are you doing? Like, you're weirding me out. Like, what are you doing? Seriously, that's how I feel. This is for my brother. It's because he likes this movie. This was one of his favorite movies. And he likes basketball. So Michael Jordan. This is just half a gift box. Let's see here. One thing that I really don't like about Christmas anymore is the idea of Santa Claus. And Christ will be the one to tell you that Santa Claus is a very, very terrible thing that goes on. And I tell people that, and they get mad at me, and it's just like, well, most people these days aren't, like, real Christians, you know, they just are sheep that don't know any better. So they get mad at me, and they're like, and it's just like, man, you're so ignorant. I'm so sorry. I can't find my razor blade. There it is. I never said I wasn't ignorant, but I'm just letting you know that everybody else is pretty ignorant too. So Santa Claus kind of sucks. Because, like, I mean, I always got a lot of gifts as a child. I always got everything I wanted. You know, go to school and tell people what you got. and they got way less than you, and it's just like this child is left feeling like, well, why didn't I get that? Like, why didn't Santa Claus give me that? Because it's not Santa Claus, it's your mom and dad, for one. And your mom and dad can only afford so much. And it's like, you're obligated to do so. Like, people think it's weird if you don't. It's like, it's just odd to me. Like, it's just weird. I tell people that if I have children, I'm not going to tell them that Santa Claus is real. I'm going to say Santa Claus isn't real. And people get mad at me. They get really, really mad at me because they're like, well, what if they tell my kids that Santa Claus isn't real and I have to deal with that? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe don't lie to your fucking children about stupid shit. God. Like, it's cool. We can do Christmas. Just exchange gifts with each other. It doesn't have to be from some imaginary dude. And don't mark them from Jesus either, because Jesus would hate that. And you would probably start sobbing and cry like, why is this happening? Why are you doing this to me, Dad? Seriously. It's pretty messed up. So, like, yeah, if I ever have children, I'm going to tell them that Santa Claus isn't real. And I'm going to say, like, if you go to school and I find out that you told a kid that Santa Claus isn't real, your ass is fucking grass, because you're going to play along and you're not going to rock the boat. Okay? Okay. Very good. Glad we had this conversation. I probably won't have children though, because this is not a place to raise children, honestly. Which is really sad, because I kind of would like to have one day, but nope, probably not. I feel like that's kind of a rash decision. I mean, like, having them. It's really sad. It's just a sad world we live in. But for the lighter side of Christmas, this day does make me feel really happy. I love getting together with my family. I love seeing everybody. I love giving everybody presents. I love exchanging gifts. I love getting gifts. Because, for obvious reasons. Herder. Like, who doesn't love getting presents? Who doesn't love getting presents? So it's really conflicting for me, to be quite honest. I mean, it's not even that. It doesn't have to be real, you know? It doesn't have to be real. But could you at least get the concept right? Like, you're not even getting the concept right. The concept is completely wrong. Even if it's not real, the concept is way off. You guys, come on. Like, how did this happen? Do you not know how to read? Oh, it's probably because they just don't read, and they're sheep. And they listen to their pastors and their teachers of law, and they don't actually get the full effect by reading it themselves. And it is quite sad. I didn't put a label on this. Sigh. Aw. Hanukkah. I don't know why they celebrate Hanukkah. Like I said, in the Old Testament it says he doesn't really like to do parties and feasts too much. I don't really get it. It's really weird. There's a lot of weird things that don't make any sense. And it's just like off on some tangent, like, huh? How did I get here? What is this nonsense? I am kind of cynical. So I do actually kind of have fun telling people that Christmas has nothing to do with Christ. Like, so much fun. Because they're like, they try to argue with me, and then I tell them, I like give them scripture, and they literally cannot argue with me, and they just get mad. And it's like, I'm sorry. This is really funny to me. Like, if you just read the book, you wouldn't have this problem, would you? The truth is that Christmas was stolen to try to get people to follow Christ. And it's like, well, that's the wrong way to do that. I'm not sure why, well, actually, God's the one doing it. Like, it's not that God is letting it happen. God is specifically the one that's doing it. And it's like, huh? I don't get it. It's really weird. Like, is this book actually, like, not have nothing to do with anything? And it, but, like, it's so, like, in line with, it's like this, it's like it comes together, and it's like it means something, but it doesn't. It's like it's true, but it's not. It's like it's a contradiction, but it isn't. Because, and people, there are people that do believe that Christmas is a pagan holiday, and they don't celebrate Christmas. Like Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't celebrate Christmas. They don't celebrate any holiday. But they say that this is from the devil. So, and that's weird because the devil has supposedly been defeated. Supposedly. So that's really weird. I mean, it's logical, like, God controls everything all the time. So, it's illogical to say that God doesn't control something because you're denying his very omnipotence. It's conceptual, it's logical, it's a logical concept, and I don't really understand how people miss this stuff. And this is what I think about in my head all day long. It's like, are you just fucking really dumb? Is everybody else really dumb and I'm just really smart? But that's not true, because you'd have freaking beings from the heavens come down to earth and totally blow our idea of smart just out of the water and just make me look like a complete dumbass. So just complete dumbass. And that's called subjectivity, people. Things are subjective. It could also be called relativity, because things are relative. Everything, all the time. Everything, all the time. It's like there isn't even a past and a future. There's only the current, you know? And like things are, it's so weird. How can, if things are only current, can you have relativity? Things obviously aren't current. Oh my god. And then you get stuck in this weird, confusing place, and it's just, and then you have to stop thinking about it because your brain hurts. Because it makes the brain hurt a little bit. But enough negativity. I do love Christmas. And I do love to sing. Very much so. Because duh. Herder. people are just weird. I tend not to. I do really just need to learn to close my mouth. Like, opening my mouth doesn't help the situation. It just makes people angry. Like I said, sometimes when people get angry, it makes me really happy. Because it's just like, you know you're wrong, and that's why you're angry. Because you know you're wrong. So you just go ahead and you rage for a while. And you sit there and you stew in that truth. And you sit there and you ask God, why? Why did you do this? Or you can sit there and you can blame Satan. And sit there in your contentment because you don't have to blame it on your creator. See what I mean? It's weird stuff going on. You know, people are like, oh, but you're your own creator, and it's just like, I can't see how that's even a possibility, really, especially since, like, things are relative. So, like, there's got to be something else out there besides me. Even if I was the only consciousness out there, you know? Like, even if solipsism was a thing and I am the only one who's truly conscious, like, I'm still inside of something, you know? And there's still this unknown that I can't see and that I'll never know. And there's still this void, you know? And it's just, I can't really see how. And I can't phase through objects, so definitely not all powerful. I can't manifest things into thin air, so I don't know what people think of me. And, you know, you could say that I limited myself, you know, because God did limit himself as well. He did, he really did. He limited himself by creating us. Well, it's really complicated. It's really complicated. It takes a lot of thought to actually work it out. I'm not even showing you any of the gifts anymore. I'm just talking. This is Batman. This is for my stepdad. Like, I feel like the Bible is completely irrelevant specifically because it talks about evil, and that just I don't think evil exists. And then again, good probably doesn't exist either, and everything just is because of, and anything can happen specifically because of the nature of infinity. The void is infinite. Our universe might not be infinite, but the void is infinite. And it always was, and it always will be. Void, faith. Void, faith. Consciousness. Polarity. That's what I'm getting. Polarity. Do you have any idea what polarity means in chemistry? Polarity means when a molecule, it only occurs between molecules, it doesn't occur between atoms. Well, that's not true. That's ignorant to say that's not true. But anyway, polarity is when you have a molecule, two atoms that form a molecule. Excuse me, I don't think carbon monoxide. Yeah, carbon monoxide, okay. I think carbon monoxide is, actually carbon monoxide is not polar. But we'll get to that in a second. So polarity. Polarity is when you have a molecule with 3 atoms 3 or more atoms. I don't actually really know of any 2 atoms to be, or 2 molecules to be quite honest. Anyway, ramble. These are fluffy socks for my mom. Polarity is when you have a fat atom, a very fat atom, next to a very small atom, and the fat atom, the intramolecular forces of the molecule, the fat atom has more, geez, it's been a while since I took chemistry. Let me think for a second. The atom's fat. It has a greater radius. That means the, okay, so it has a greater radius. Let's see. As you add more protons, the atom gets smaller because of the attractive forces of the protons, because you can only see the electrons. The electron cloud is the only part of the atom that you can actually see, or that we can actually see because of our microscopes, I think. I'm not sure if they've gotten pictures of protons and shit. I'm not sure. So you add more protons and the electrons get closer together. Oh geez, it's so technical and I can't really remember. So you have a fat atom next to a small atom, and the fat atom causes more pull with the electrons, because that's how bonding works with molecules. It's the electrons that hold the molecules together. The movement of the electrons is what hold molecules together. So polar molecules are when the fat atom pulls the electrons more, so it creates polarity. So you have the electrons are closer to the fat atom more than they're closer to the small atom, so it creates this polarity thing. So you have, it's just like, I kind of miss my point with this just a little bit, but I'm sure I can't freaking remember. My brain's really foggy. Oh man, where'd it go? Polarity, where'd you go? I'm just gonna sit here for a second. These are for my brother. I don't want to use that wrapping paper again. This is for my stepdad. It's The Guitarist by Picasso. Pablo Picasso. I like Pablo Picasso. Polarity. But like it's I'm trying to make this parallel. Like you have smaller things and you have bigger things, like polarity. Like it's like there's 2 ends. There's 2 ways to go. There's 2 different paths that you could take. You can pick one way or you could pick another way. And it doesn't really matter which way you pick. Polarity, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Positive, negative, polarity. A really interesting thing about, this is really interesting, and they don't really know why this is. They have no idea why this is. A really interesting thing is the relationship between carbon and oxygen, because carbon, I'm pretty sure, I think it's carbon and oxygen, because carbon is way, it's, man, it's been a while since I've studied chemistry, but carbon is way fatter than oxygen, way fatter, but they're not polar. They're nonpolar, and nonpolar bonds are much stronger than polar bonds. Much stronger than polar bonds. And nobody knows why carbon and oxygen are non-polar. They just are. And it is specifically why we exist. If it wasn't like that, we wouldn't exist. Nothing would exist. There would be no life anywhere. Specifically why we exist. And it's really weird. Nobody knows why it's like that. It just is. And I think it's like really interesting to think about. Like, what if there was some kind of thing that's like holding, like some kind of force that is holding things together, you know what I mean? And there really is some kind of force. And people don't think of it usually as something that's alive or conscious. They think of it as, people are really small-minded in their definitions of consciousness and life and death and things like that. So people don't really think of the force that holds everything together. Gravity, you know. I'm pretty sure that's the force that holds everything together, is gravity. And people don't really think of it as something that is alive or conscious, you know. And it's just, I think it's funny. What if it was conscious? I don't really know what the implications of that would be. But then again, what if I'm the only one who's conscious? Man, this is weird. Weird stuff. Say la vie. Oops. I'm not sure if I'm spelling Aaron's name right. Okay, it's time to switch again. Stephen Hawking would talk about, I've been reading parts of The History of Time, A Universe in a Nutshell, or something like that. I've been reading parts of that. And I think he actually said something along the lines of the universal theory of gravity being conscious, something along those lines. And it's like, he said something about, like, if we are governed by this theory, then it itself governs whether or not we will find out the truth about it. You know what I mean? It's really weird stuff. Really, really weird stuff. And he went on to say some stuff about natural selection and how naturally we will just come to the right conclusion. Like, it's just a natural thing that'll just happen. And I like was reading it, and it's like, are you talking about faith? Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about having faith right now? Like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just read this in a Stephen Hawking novel. Ugh, crazy. And it's just like, okay, so you think the universal theory of gravity could be alive, but you don't want to believe in a God. But I can understand why you wouldn't, because God breaks everything. Everything. or doesn't break things. All these weird labels. It's weird. This is a Rick and Morty poster. This is for my stepdad too. It says, "Where are my testicles, Summer?" And then it's got a picture of Snowball. Where are my testicles, Summer? You have removed them. Where have they gone? Where's my mind? Where did it go? Where's my razor, please? Oh, my Lanta. This is why I need to stop smoking pot. But at least not all the time. Judgmental people. I'm not sure if I'm hearing things right now. I could be hearing things right now. I do hear things. I guess it's long enough. I'll see you all later.